It was supposed to be an ordinary evening, the kind of night that ended with quiet relief after a long, exhausting day at the office. I had asked Thomas, my driver, to wait outside the building until I finished my work. He nodded, polite and dependable as always, his usual, of course, mum spoken with calm certainty. But when I finally shut down my computer and walked out into the dimly lit parking lot nearly 2 hours later, the space where his car should have been sat empty. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Perhaps he had gone for fuel or taken a quick break. I stood there, the night air chilling my skin, scrolling through my phone to pass the time. 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 20. No headlights appeared at the gate. No familiar silhouette leaned casually against the black sedan. I called his phone. No answer. I called again. Straight to voicemail. A strange unease stirred in my stomach. Thomas had been with our family for nearly 5 years. He was punctual to the second, reliable to a fault. For him to vanish without a word, it was unthinkable. That's when I opened my email. A new message blinked in my inbox, sent just 30 minutes earlier. The subject line froze my blood. You should know the truth. It was from an anonymous account. With trembling fingers, I clicked it open. Attached were photos, grainy, taken in secret but unmistakable. There was Thomas, my driver, my employee, sitting at a cafe across town with my husband. The timestamp on the photos aligned perfectly with the time he was supposed to be waiting for me. And in every image, the two of them leaned in close, speaking with an intensity that suggested secrets not meant for my ears. The ground beneath me seemed to tilt. Why were they meeting? Why in secret? And why had Thomas lied about waiting for me, leaving me stranded in the dark? A dozen possibilities rushed through my mind, none of them innocent. Was my husband confiding in him, using him as a messenger? Or worse, was Thomas more than just a driver to him? Betrayal doesn't always announce itself with shouting or slamming doors. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the form of an empty parking space, a phone that goes unanswered, and a single email that shatters everything you thought you knew. I stood frozen in the empty parking lot, clutching my phone like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. My pulse hammered in my ears. I couldn't decide which stung more, the blatant absence of Thomas when I had trusted him implicitly, or the secret meeting with my husband that was hidden from me like some shameful conspiracy. I opened the photos again, enlarging them, staring at every detail. The cafe's wooden tables, the faint glow of the neon sign outside, the blurred face of the waitress serving them. But my eyes kept returning to the expressions on their faces. My husband's jaw was tight, his hand gripping the edge of the table. Thomas leaned forward, his brows furrowed, speaking with urgency. They weren't laughing, they weren't casual, it was serious, almost desperate. I should have gone home immediately. I should have confronted my husband at once. But something inside me whispered, don't. If I rushed now, they would lie. They would cover their tracks, erase whatever evidence existed. And so, instead of going home, I did something I had never done before. I followed my instincts, not my fear. I called a cab, gave the driver the name of the cafe, and silently prayed it wasn't too late. When we arrived, the cafe was nearly empty. The waitress was wiping down tables, the last customers leaving. My heart sank. Thomas and my husband were gone. But the waitress noticed me standing in the doorway, hesitant. Are you looking for someone? She asked kindly. I forced a smile. Yes, actually. 2 men, one tall, dark suit, the other a bit older with sultan pepper hair. They were here about an hour ago. Her brow furrowed. Yes, I remember them. They left not long ago. They were arguing, I think. The younger man your driver, maybe. He kept raising his voice. I thought they might fight. But the older man calmed him down. Then they left together. Strange pair. A chill swept through me. Arguing. Leaving together? This wasn't just a casual meeting. Something deeper was boiling under the surface. On the way home, I scrolled back through every interaction I'd had with Thomas in the past few months. Subtle things I had brushed aside now came crashing back with meaning. The times he avoided eye contact when my husband called. The hushed phone conversations he ended the moment I approached. The occasional lateness he excused with traffic or errands. I thought I was imagining it then, but now I saw the pattern. When I finally arrived home, the house was silent. My husband wasn't there yet. I sat in the darkened living room, waiting. Every tick of the clock felt like an eternity. When his car finally pulled into the driveway, my stomach knotted so tightly I could barely breathe. He walked in, loosening his tie, feigning the same tired weariness he wore every night. "You're up late," he said casually, as though nothing in the world was amiss. I stared at him. Every fiber of me wanted to shout, to throw the photos in his face, to demand the truth. But instead, I whispered, "Where were you tonight?" He froze just for a second, but enough for me to see the flicker of guilt in his eyes. At the office, he replied too smoothly, too quickly. The lie was blatant, and I knew then, with bone-deep certainty, that the betrayal went far beyond what I had seen in those photos. I said nothing more. Not yet. Instead, I smiled faintly, nodded, and excused myself to bed. But inside, a storm was raging. I wasn't going to confront him until I had real proof. Proof that he couldn't twist or deny. And so, the next morning, I began my quiet investigation. I checked Thomas' schedule, the GPS logs from the car, the fuel receipts. I even slipped into my husband's study when he left for work, searching through his desk drawers. And then I found it. A locked leather folder hidden at the back of the drawer. Inside were documents, bank statements, signed contracts, and, most damning of all, letters in my husband's handwriting addressed to Thomas. Letters filled with instructions, secrecy, and plans. Plans that revealed a betrayal deeper than I had imagined.